All right, welcome to Architrave Gaming. I'm the Archmaster. It's so good of you to drop by. All right, today we're talking about alignment, all about alignment, and how it's often, very often, almost all the time, misunderstood and confused. And that's because there are actually 4 different concepts that go by the same name. And this may sound kind of familiar when I'm talking about, tabletop RPGs. It's actually 4 different activities that we all lump up and call one thing, but it's actually 4 different ones. And when you pick them apart and separate them, you get to appreciate each and actually decide how much of each you want. Same thing with alignment. We call it alignment, and I've played in games, I've had players tell me like, oh, your alignment is your actions. And, if you do good or do evil, right? And other people are like, oh, I've seen players helping out new players, and like, okay, so if you pick your alignment, like, it's your stance on the world at large. Like, do you oppose society or do you work with it? It's like, okay, that's another version. It's like this philosophy of the common man in society. All right, that's what it is now. And then with someone else, it's like, oh, it's your personality. If you're a chaotic person, then you don't comb your hair and you don't shine your boots and whatnot. If you're an orderly, lawful person, then you're shining your boots and keeping good care of your weapons and armor, and you're very neat. It's like, so now it's a personality trait. Okay, but there's more. There's also like what side of a local conflict there's on. It's like here are the orcs and they're chaotic, and here are the golden dragons and they're good. Alignment. Which side are you on? It's like, okay, that's another one. And then lastly, you have the original intention in old school D&D, where it's more of a religion. It's more of which side are you on in the cosmic war between law and chaos, the cosmic forces of the universe. That's what alignment originally was. It's which side of the cosmic war are you on? And the cosmic war, that's pretty much your religion. Are you with the Celestials or the Fiends, right? So, yeah, you have your cosmic war. And so in my system, Archers and Avatars, I actually give each of these their own place, right? And so I say, yeah, there's not just one anymore. One is your alignment, one is your axis, one is your ideal, and the other is your personality traits. You can have all of them, but just give them different names. Split them up so the player isn't confused. If I support the side of, if I support the dragons against the orcs, does that mean I have to be orderly and neat with how I dress? And, like, can't I be a chaotic person, like, kind of disorderly and random, and also serve good? It's like, yes, you can. These are all completely different things. So, your religion, your cosmic alignment, in my system, there is the upper one, the positive one, and then there's the lower negative one. The plane of the positive is the day spring. It's like light, it's like yin yang, right? It is the yang part. In yin yang you have the black and the white. It's the white. It's like a black hole and a white hole. It's the white hole. It's the thing where everything comes out of, right? It's rumored that the universe was birthed from it, right? And so with the day spring, you have the concepts of law, or technically the concepts of good and order, and together they form law, right? That's all your stuff. And then life and all sorts of things come from that little merger, right? And then at the bottom, the negative one, you have the void, right? From it is evil and disorder, and those come together to form chaos. Yes, I like chaos to mean chaotic evil. What I call it is like disorderly evil is chaos, right? Because chaos isn't just neutral; it's kind of evil, right? So anyway, that's my big cosmology, cosmic forces, cosmic alignment war thing, right? And then you have your ideals, right? As people on Earth, of course, you also have the neutral one, which is essentially just Earth itself. It's where you live, and then you have your ideals. So in my system, there are 9 ideals, almost like your 9 alignment things. And they all have completely new names. Let's see if I can actually pull it out here. But yeah, you have peace, which is at the top. And so ideals are essentially when it's the thing you're trying to promote in the world, right? Your alignment, the big cosmic one, is like, all right, this is where I align my whole self in terms of positive, negative, and neutral. Most people on the material plane are neutral, right? If you actually aligned yourself with the positive stuff, like good and order and all that, you would actually not ask for payment for a job, right? It's neutral people that say, hey, you give me something, I'll give you something, right? That's a neutral concept, right? There's the law and chaos and neutral. Most people are neutral. It takes a very exceptional person to be like, I'm actually trying to be an angel. I'm acting in like the cosmic good, right? That's a very highbrow thing, right? Most players in the game don't even need to pick an alignment because it's such this highbrow concept. You don't have to care about the cosmic war. You don't have to care about the cosmic forces of like the principles that hold up the world. You don't need to care about that. That's like outer space, like the void and the day spring. It's like you're here an adventurer getting gold. You don't need to care, right? It's absolutely not a requirement. Your ideal, though, your ideal is a requirement for your character. So, from top to bottom, from most positive to most negative, you have peace, grace, justice, liberty, and the neutral one is motive, your personal motive, right? And then oppression, abuse, enmity, strife. So, those are your personal ideals. You pick one, or you pick one. You can technically pick two neighboring ones, but yeah, you pick one of those. Everyone starts out with motive unless they ask the GM, like, hey, can I start out with something else? So with motive, it's essentially you have these four. It's like your ideal bonds and flaws from 5e, but it's your goals, values, obligation, and weakness, which I think actually make a little more sense. So, when you're making your character, you write in, your character's goals, their values, their obligation, weakness. Goal can be something like, I want to save my father that got abducted by, an evil woman. I'm thinking of Fallout. And then your values can be like, I hate slavery, I hate, oppression and whatnot, and I will free it, wherever I can. And so then your obligation is something like, I owe this debt to this guy. I have to pay it when it comes calling. Or, my master, like I'm a wizard, and so my master that taught me how to be a wizard, he can call in a favor anytime, and I have to do it, right? And then your weakness is like, man, I sure hope no one finds out that, I'm a vampire and I'm weak to sunlight or something, right? And so you make these, you write out your goals, values, obligation, and weakness, and every time you work toward these, you have what I call a significant interaction with your goals, value, obligation, or weakness. You get a luck point, and when you have a significant interaction with all four of them, your maximum luck increases. And your devotion to motive, to your personal motive, also increases. If you don't understand what that means, that's fine. I'll get to devotion later. But yeah, there's that personal thing where you can choose to be like, hey, I'm going to be devoted, instead of my personal motive, I'm going to be devoted to liberty. And so that's my thing now. I'm going to always make sure that I champion freedom, right? That's your thing. You can hold your ideal strongly or loosely, all right? The more you work toward it, the more you are devoted to it, right? You can have a very low devotion to your motive and be like, I like liberty. I mean, yeah. Or you can be like, I will swear a sacred oath to liberty and be a paladin. There are several levels of it, right? But yeah, you pick one. And then there is your local. The local side that you side with, right? The local faction or something. This doesn't really have to be part of your character sheet at all. This is just a part of the actual adventure that you're in your sandbox or something. So it's like, oh, look, here are the orcs, and those are the Thieves Guild, and that's the northern city and the southern city, and which side am I on, right? That's also technically your alignment. It's the same way in old school wargaming. You had, it was, World War II. So you had the Allies and the Axis, and then the neutral, right? And so when you go on the battlefield, you look at someone and say, oh, they're of the opposite alignment. I can attack them, right? That's how D&D kind of started. It's like, oh, cosmic war mixed with they're on the enemy team, right? So you can also have that where it's like, oh, those are the enemies. They're against my alignment, right? But that's not really alignment. That's just your enemies in the game, right? That's not a thing you have to choose. That can change as you go. That's just part of playing the game. But some people are like, oh yeah, that's alignment. It's, do you kill the orcs on side or not? Are they on the enemy team or the friendly team? It's like, you could do alignment that way, but okay. And then there is your means of operating. You could say, yes, I am on the side of good and law. Like I am here to serve those gold dragons that are defending the good kingdom, and I'm going to kill all the orcs, right? I'm on the side of good. I am a champion of good. I'm fighting for good. But your means of operating can be chaotic or evil or chaotic evil. And you can be like, we're going to torture them. We're going to burn down their homes. We're going to do all that. You can be a chaotic evil. Your means of operating can be, anything. You're still on their side. You're still on the side of the good guys, right? But your means of operating is different. That is not the same thing. Those aren't alignment. Those are two different things. That's your whose side you're on, and then your means of operating. Very different things, and a lot of people just kind of lump them all together. And then lastly, your personality traits. It's like, oh, I'm totally on the side of good, and I will defend good to my death, and I'm going to use evil tactics like torture and murder and genocide to do it. But also, I'm a very orderly person, right? You can flip-flop. You can say I'm very orderly here and very chaotic here, and then orderly and chaotic, right? You can be on the side of law and then be like, oh yeah, but I'm against them. Oh, but I do very good things against them, but I'm also a really messy person, right? These are different things, and we all call them alignment, and it's about time we call them something else. So anyway, I hope that was explanatory and a little sneak peek into, perhaps a confusing sneak peek into my system. But thanks for watching. Thank you to my patron, Jack McCarthy. And like and subscribe, feed the algorithm, all that, and God bless.